Tonight, police say he raped a 13-year-old Newton girl at knife point. Now the search is on for the suspect. Will the Patriots' move to Hartford be blocked by a lawsuit? Forget snow. New Englanders are hitting the beach. But are temperatures about to take a plunge? Who gets a better night's sleep, men or women, and why? This is Fox 25 News at 10.
A brutal attack in Newton, a teenage girl raped at knife point. Good evening, I'm Bob Ward.
And I'm Eileen Curran. Tonight, police in Newton need your help finding the suspect in this horrible assault. Fox
25's Glenn Pearson is live in Newton tonight with the latest on the search. Glenn.
We're in Newton Center tonight, as you mentioned, Bob. It's a very busy area, lots of shops and restaurants. In fact, there's a tea station directly across the street from where I'm standing right now. Now, what that means is that there's a lot of foot traffic here. It's a very active area, even until late in the evening. So police are hoping that someone last night recognized or noticed the person they say raped a 13-year-old girl.
Oh, I'm horrified.
That's the reaction of most people in Newton Center to news of the rape of a 13-year-old girl behind the Newton Center post office.
It definitely surprised me, yeah, because Newton Center, usually things like that don't happen.
But sometime between 8 and 9 o'clock Thursday night, it did happen. Police say the girl had just left Walgreens on her way home. It was on this walkway connecting Union and Beacon Streets that investigators say the man first approached the girl. They were walking in opposite directions. Now, after a brief conversation, police say the girl turned around and willingly walked with the man back to the post office about a block from here. Police say he told her he was going to see a relative who was working there. Once at the post office, he forced her behind the building and into an unlocked postal truck where police say she was raped at knife point. He left her after telling her to stay put for 20 minutes.
It's definitely a random act.
Newton Police Chief Frank Orgoni says the girl was taken to Newton Wellesley Hospital where she was treated for cuts and bruises. Here's a composite sketch of the man police are looking for. He's described as black, about 20 years old, thin built, 5'9" to 5 feet 10 inches tall. He was wearing black jeans, a black shirt, and black hiking boots with gray cloth on the sides. He was also carrying a yellow Walkman radio.
I think it could be prevented because I don't see why she came with the guy like a stranger. I don't think that it's smart to walk around with a stranger. I mean, it's kind of asking for not so great things to happen.
Now here's a look at that composite sketch again. If you were in the Newton Center area last night and noticed someone fitting this description, Newton Police want you to call them. Phone the Detective Bureau at 617-552-7248. And that 13-year-old victim, we're told, is resting comfortably tonight with her parents. Live in Newton Center, Glenn Pearson, Fox 25 News.
Thanks, Glenn. In Brighton tonight, a candlelight vigil as a community grieves the victim of a vicious stabbing. Members of Boston's gay, bisexual, and transgender community tonight honor the memory of Rita Hester. Hester was stabbed to death last week in a Brighton apartment. Police have no suspects. Tonight at this vigil, some wonder if Rita Hester was the victim of a hate crime.
It's to remember someone who is a good friend to a lot of us, and someone who is friends with a lot of, the straight community in Allston, and who is also a member of the transsexual community.
I'm finding out tonight that he was really loved, but there were persons that didn't love him, and they took my heart from me.
Boston Mayor Tom Menino issued a statement tonight saying everyone in Boston should renew efforts to eliminate hate crimes.
Family and friends gathered in Foxboro tonight to say goodbye to a grandmother who was brutally murdered. Irene Kennedy was beaten and stabbed to death in a Walpole Park Tuesday morning. The 75-year-old and her husband Thomas walked in the park most mornings, taking separate paths and meeting in the middle. Thomas Kennedy discovered his wife's body when she didn't arrive at their meeting point. So far, police have no suspect.
A key piece of evidence is introduced in the kidnapping and murder trial of Charles Janes. He's one of two men accused of killing Jeffrey Curley of Cambridge. Fox 25 News reporter Debbie Kim has the latest from East Brookfield.
Charles Janes is charged with kidnapping 10-year-old Jeffrey Curley and smothering him to death with a gasoline-soaked rag last year. Today, prosecutors showed jurors the Rubbermaid container Janes allegedly used to dump Jeffrey's body in a river in Maine. They also presented surveillance photos and several witnesses who saw Charles Janes and his friend Salvatore Sicari buying the container and other evidence that was used in the murder.
He was extremely nervous. He was very agitated. He had a heavy odor of perspiration and a faint odor of gasoline. and he made me nervous.
Then Salvatore Sicari's former girlfriend testified that she told Sicari that she wanted him to stop hanging around with Charles Janes because he was obsessed with young boys.
Did you make clear to Salvatore Sicari something about Charles Janes?
Yes.
And what was that?
I told him that he was a pedophile.
Charlene Letourneau also testified that Sicari called her on the night Jeffrey disappeared and told her that he had murdered someone.
I told him, "You're on the phone telling me that you just killed somebody and you have no remorse." And he said I could give two f***s. It's like a bowl of cereal to me. I could either eat it or walk away from it.
The prosecution expects to wrap up its case sometime next week. Then the defense will begin presenting its side. In East Brookfield, Debbie Kim, Fox 25 News.
A janitor gets quite a shock when he finds a World War II artillery shell at Belmont Town Hall. Michael Senville discovered the old Army shell in a storage closet. Belmont police called in the bomb squad to retrieve the explosive and destroy it. Police don't know where the shell came from or how long it was in the closet. And a grand jury gets the go-ahead to order genetic samples in the investigation of 2 bombs found at libraries in Concord last October. The grand jury requested the samples from 2 outspoken opponents of state government. William Vickers and Joseph Haas claimed the subpoenas violated their rights against unreasonable searches and free speech rights. The judge said the grand jury's reasons do not violate the men's rights.
Forget the holidays. With this winter warm-up, folks are headed to the beaches instead of the shopping malls. We didn't break a record in Boston, but other cities did. Milton and Providence, Rhode Island each reached new highs today. Meanwhile, other cities tied their records, among them Worcester and Hartford, Connecticut. Like many people this Friday night, Fox 25's John Harrington is out on the streets enjoying this beautiful weather. John, we're jealous. How is it out there?
Oh, it is absolutely beautiful out here, Eileen. How warm is it? Well, any other December 4th at this hour of the night, you should be able to see the breath steaming from my face, but not tonight, even though the temperature has dropped a bit since the sun went down, but no one's complaining out here. In fact, everyone seems to be enjoying this romance with May in December. In Duxbury, it was a day to catch up on your summer reading list or get a new perspective on your Christmas wish list. December 4th and barefoot on the beach.
And you know what? I wouldn't mind doing it on December 24th, 25th, and 26th. Maybe it won't snow at all.
The sun may not pack as much heat as it sometimes can, but
it's really pleasant, actually. I'm really psyched.
It's incredible. I mean, it's like being in Florida.
But it's Boston, and the squirrels are going nuts, and the humans are hibernating or showing off their shorts.
Because it is so warm. If you didn't, you would be so hot.
It's a day that gives a city a good name.
We heard very good things about the city, and we thought that we should come check it out. We're glad we did.
'Tis the season, but for what?
I'm not excited about Christmas. I can't get into the spirit, but I do see a lot of nice shops, so I might be able to.
Struggling retailers have to be feeling the heat, but there is hope.
We have been Christmas shopping all day, and it's so much fun to have this kind of weather. It's great.
It's too warm, I think.
But just right to pick up the Christmas tree in your short-sleeve tee.
I'm so much in the Christmas spirit. I can feel the snow coming. Yeah.
But you're in short sleeves.
I know it. I know it. It'll happen.
Maybe it will happen. And how's this for timing? Tomorrow I'm heading on vacation to beautiful sunny Southern California, where I'm told an Alaskan cold front is dipping down to make temperatures somewhere in the upper 50s or low 60s, somewhat like what we have here. Maybe I should stay home. We're live in Boston tonight. John Harrington, Fox 25 News.
Yeah, if he stays in Boston, he's going to enjoy the weather. On Long Island, the summer-like weather has plenty of people working on tans as the temperatures rise. Shopping for Christmas trees for now is definitely on the back burner.
In Chicago, producers had to make fake snow to finish this TV commercial. Warm temperatures made it impossible to use the real thing. You won't hear any complaining from golfers, though. They're looking at this mild December as an early Christmas present.
And in Virginia, this tropical December is killing the local ski industry. Temperatures are running 30 degrees too warm to make snow. That means if you want to strap on the skis, you're going to have to improvise, at least until it gets a little colder.
Well, the Patriots' plan to move to Connecticut may have to take a detour through a courtroom.
The Massachusetts Attorney General says the deal may violate antitrust laws. Fox 25's Rosalind Jordan is here to explain what could be a potentially expensive crimp in the Patriots' plans. Roz.
Bob and Eileen, Scott Harshbarger really thought that the legislature and the acting governor could have worked out a deal to keep the Patriots down in Foxboro. But since they didn't do that, Harshbarger says he feels obligated to step in now. Now, there aren't any promises that there will be a lawsuit, but Harshbarger says he owes it to the fans to find out if they're really being left behind. 2 weeks after the Patriots said they were bound for Hartford, Scott Harshbarger wants to know if the NFL and the Patriots have cut a secret deal, one that would keep another football team out of Massachusetts. If so, the Attorney General says that's antitrust behavior worthy of a lawsuit.
This is about the fans, it's about the Commonwealth's interest, it's about the public interest, and it's about preserving competition.
Other states have sued to keep football teams from moving. Among the targets, the Cleveland Browns, the Seattle Seahawks, the LA Rams. Only Seattle stayed put, but Ohio did get to hold on to the Browns name for a new team, and the Rams did get permission to move to St. Louis. While Harshbarger says his office is just starting to investigate, the Patriots call the situation, quote, hard to believe. It seems strange that significant taxpayer dollars will be spent to pursue this effort when those same resources could have been used for the cost of infrastructure. Governor-elect Paul Cellucci's reaction.
Well, my initial reaction is one of skepticism, put it that way. I'm not so sure the antitrust arguments can carry the day.
Meantime, in Connecticut, several local politicians are dismissing talk the $350 million stadium deal could fall apart because of projected cost overruns and environmental problems.
A lot of the people I talk to speak about Hartford and speak about Connecticut with a lot more warmth and a lot more conviction.
Now, tonight, the NFL says it hasn't made any promises to the Patriots that it would try to keep other football teams out of Massachusetts. League spokesman Joe Brown says the Patriots haven't even made that request. He also tells the Associated Press that while technically there could be another team here in Massachusetts if the Patriots go to Hartford, I'm reading here, quote, Boston already has a team that represents them, and that's the Patriots.
Wow.
Bob?
It'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
Several months, years perhaps.
It'll take a while. Thanks, Roz.
Still ahead on Fox 25 News at 10, who gets a better night's sleep, men or women?
Find out who's tossing and turning the most and why. And this lighthouse was built to save lives. Now the Coast Guard is trying to save it.
Plus, a Santa savior comes to a baby's rescue in the St. Nick of time.
And up next, a college newspaper sparks a cartoon controversy. Find out why no one's laughing.
Now that the weekend is here, does that mean our record warmth has to leave? Find out. The forecast is coming up.
News Radio Update. Ta-da! Business is booming.
People from my generation aren't very smart.
When Beth turns entrepreneur.
Okay, you're creeping me out.
I thought it was kind of fun.
Next News Radio. Tonight at 11 on Fox 25.
Why do I drive?
A school newspaper cartoon is sparking outrage on the University of Rhode Island campus.
Action, action, we want action! Action, action, we want action! Action, action, we want action! Action, action, we want...
More than 200 angry students marched from their dorm to the campus newspaper and on to the president's office. They're demanding the editor of the school newspaper resign. The cartoon depicts a black student entering an all-white classroom at the University of Texas with a professor asking whether the student is a janitor or a minority student. The paper says the cartoon is misunderstood. The next issue is due out next week.
A New Hampshire babysitter is charged with restraining children at a daycare she runs out of her home. Authorities say 54-year-old Beverly Shaw doesn't even have a daycare license and is defying a court order by operating the center in her Laconia home. Prosecutors say Shaw bound children to chairs to keep them in line, but police say they don't believe any of the children were physically hurt.
Other things that happen that would be considered physical abuse but may not involve an injury would be confining a child into a small space, locking in a room, doing unusual kind of activities.
2 years ago, Shaw was ordered to shut down the center after the state filed a petition against her for refusing to license her daycare. She's charged with 5 counts of endangering a child's welfare.
A government psychiatrist says the man accused in this summer's shooting rampage at the nation's Capitol building is not fit to stand trial. The psychiatrist is recommending Russell Weston be hospitalized indefinitely. Weston is charged with the shooting deaths of John Gibson and Jacob Chestnut last July. Congressman Joseph Moakley, who is the uncle of Gibson's wife, just wants to be sure Russell can never do this again.
I think if the psychiatrists find him not competent, then he shouldn't stand trial. But he should be put away so that he doesn't get out in the streets and commit that act again.
Prosecutors who are deciding whether to push for a trial want to see the psychiatrist's records. Defense lawyers are opposing that request. Now, if Weston goes to trial, his lawyers plan to use an insanity defense.
Is justice blind? A researcher at Brandeis University says in court it helps to be cute. The study found baby-faced defendants were more likely to get off. Experts say that's because baby-faced people are viewed as naive, honest, and less likely to do something wrong on purpose.
In a Florida courtroom, a fight breaks out as two convicted murderers appeal their verdicts. The violence was sparked when a witness showed a picture of the young boy the two men were convicted of killing. Then the victim's father lunged at the defendants, and other family members in the courtroom soon followed. A table the two were sitting at didn't stop some of the attackers. One man even swung an umbrella at them. The courtroom was cleared and the trial was rescheduled. In national news, an autopsy will determine how an escaped death row inmate in Texas died. It appears that Martin Garuli drowned and did not die in a gun battle with police, as was first thought. Two fishermen found Garuli's body in a creek a mile from the prison last night. The convict escaped with 6 other inmates Thanksgiving night. 6 of the inmates were caught within hours of that prison break.
A suspect leads police on a bizarre slow-speed chase in Los Angeles. The driver refused to pull over for police. They were trying to stop him for a registration violation. During the chase, the driver kept varying his speeds, almost stopping at times, only to later speed away. When police finally pulled 31-year-old Peter DeCastro over, they had to smash his windows to take him into custody.
San Francisco gets an early wake-up call from Mother Nature. A moderate earthquake shook the Bay Area at about 4 a.m. The quake, which registered a 4.1, was centered along the San Andreas Fault, about 10 miles northeast of San Francisco. Fortunately, there were no reports of major injuries, and it only caused minor damage.
6 decades after the disappearance of Amelia Earhart, researchers may be closer to finding out where her final flight ended. Bones found on a deserted South Pacific island 60 years ago are now thought to be Earhart's remains. Recorded measurements of the bones suggested they belonged to a tall Northern European woman. However, right now, the remains are nowhere to be found. Researchers are heading back to canvass the island. The tide may be turning in the Clinton crisis tonight. Some Judiciary Committee members say they are less confident the president can avoid an impeachment vote. Meanwhile, the president's lawyers have asked the committee for several days to put on a defense. And as Fox's Jim Engel reports, that could have an impact on the entire Congress.
The one issue that has become the president's shield against the slings and arrows of impeachment is the continued strength of the economy. So he lets no opportunity pass to remind everyone.
And in November, the economy added more than 250,000 jobs, which means now America has created about 17.3 million jobs in the last 6 years.
But these days, the White House is very concerned about just one job, the one the president is trying to hold on to. And Friday, a Democratic member of the Judiciary Committee said what the president's advisors must know, that the chances of the full House voting to impeach Mr. Clinton are growing.
For the first time this week, I'm worried that it could very well happen. I think the odds are a little bit more than 50% now that they will twist arms and get just about every Republican to vote for impeachment.
With a vote on impeachment scheduled in the committee next week and in the full House soon thereafter, the White House is starting to send stronger signals that it is open to censure ideas from Congress.
As we get closer to the date as they move, where we are aggressively listening.
Does that include the possibility the president is willing to pay a fine?
I think if members in good faith want to pursue that option and approach representatives here at the White House with that option, we will listen and take anything they say seriously.
And late Friday, the White House said it will call witnesses next week, not to talk about the president's actions, but but to talk about standards for impeachment and prosecutorial misconduct. The president's lawyers asked the committee for 3 or 4 days to defend the president, promising they would finish by the end of the week. At the White House, Jim Angle, Fox News.
Still ahead tonight, find out how to pick out the best Christmas tree and how you can make it last in this warm weather.
Also ravaged by Hurricane Mitch, we'll tell you how kids in Boston are making sure children in Honduras still have a Merry Christmas.
Cops score a major bust and are shocked at what they find.
Bring child abuse charges on all 3 of them.
And all new Cops. Then, a serial rapist is still preying on innocent young girls after 2.5 years.
Something made her think that she was safe.
And all new America's Most Wanted begins Saturday at 8 on Fox 25.
Saturday. The shack you've never seen.
See, I'm big boned and everything, and that's just more me to love.
Mad TV.
Saturday at 11 on Fox 25.
You see, David, I feel your feelings betray a feeling I felt about your feelings. And I felt our feelings had grown beyond feeling this way. What you felt...
Let's face it, you're not always clear on a cellular phone. But now there's Sprint PCS, the only nationwide all-digital network for a new level of clarity.
I'm going to Mexico with Brad.
Sprint PCS.
It's only for 2 weeks.
Right now, just $1 a day.
Since the Blockbuster gift card came along, Santa just seems a little cooler than he used to be.
Get your gift cards at Blockbuster or on the web at blockbuster.com.
Rent The Mask of Zorro tonight and go home happy. Live the adventure, feel the danger, and witness as justice leaves its mark. The Mask of Zorro, rated PG-13, guaranteed to be there at Blockbuster Video.
Shopping during the holidays can be really expensive. You buy something for Dad? Something for Sis? Well, when are you going to do something for yourself? Well, during the Chevy Make Your Money Count year-end event. Treat yourself to the Chevy of your dreams with low 1.9% APR financing or big cash back on a huge selection of Chevrolet vehicles. So do something for yourself this year. Your Chevy dealers Make Your Money Count year-end event.
See your local Chevrolet dealer today.
Closed captioning underwritten by Dunkin' Donuts.
Mistletoe. Mistletoe.
Don't you just love Dunkin' Donuts around the holidays?
In world news, UN Secretary General Kofi Annan is off to Libya to try and negotiate the surrender of 2 men suspected in the bombing of Pan Am Flight 103. The disaster in Lockerbie, Scotland, killed all 270 people on board 10 years ago. Now, Libya has agreed to put the suspects on trial in the Netherlands, but refuses to give in to U.S. demands that, if convicted, the men serve their sentence in Scotland.
Armed with shovels and spades, people in one Chinese city clashed with police. The uproar comes after the Chinese government leveled new buildings put up by real estate developers. They were built on vacant lots that developers hoped to sell for profit. But the government says the land doesn't belong to the company, so it destroyed the buildings. And it's being called the biggest cocaine bust ever in South Africa. Police have seized nearly 300 kilograms of cocaine, diluted in more than 11,000 bottles of wine. Authorities believe the wine was on its way to a Nigerian drug ring when it was intercepted. No arrests have been made. The confiscated cocaine is said to have a street value of between $8 and $16 million.
The Boston Museum of Fine Arts is displaying new information alongside the disputed Monet painting thought to have been looted by the Nazis during the Second World War. The painting, Water Lilies 1904, is part of a Monet exhibit now appearing at the MFA. Recent discoveries suggest the painting was stolen from the Jewish art collector Paul Rosenberg. The new wall label explains this latest controversy. Well, people here in Boston are proving they have not forgotten the victims of Hurricane Mitch, especially the children.
Honduran children face a very difficult time in the weeks and months to come, never mind any kind of a Merry Christmas. But thanks to some kids in Boston, there will be smiles this holiday season. When Hurricane Mitch tore through Honduras, he left thousands dead and more than 1 million homeless. Aid is pouring in from agencies around the world and from some Catholic school kids in Boston.
Good Saint Nicholas, like to help the poor.
Children from St. Matthew's School in Dorchester sing of the charitable works of St. Nicholas. The kids showed their charity by making and selling decals. They raised $400 for hurricane victims. The kids say the plight of Honduran children touched them.
It made me feel sad.
Students from St. Teresa's in West Roxbury also raised money.
I was very moved by this.
Bernard Cardinal Law was so moved, he decided to launch a toy drive for Honduran children this Christmas. Despite the great need for other items, Cardinal Law says it's important these kids have a joyful Christmas this year.
For the children, Christmas is still Christmas, and for parents who are not able to assist Santa Claus and St. Nicholas so easily this year, and for children who have lost parents, I thought, and the Archbishop of Tegucigalpa thought, that it would be a great thing if we could have this partnership.
Instead of collecting actual toys, the church will collect money and then buy toys to be shipped on December 15th. Already some manufacturers are offering free toys, so Cardinal Law feels confident they'll be able to fill a whole plane. As for the kids who gave him this idea,
and it's a very good thing to give to other people, particularly when they are in need. And you are giving a great lesson to us all. I'm very proud of you.
the toys will be given out during a special celebration on December 19th. By the way, this is a special weekend for Cardinal Law. Tomorrow marks the 25th anniversary of his becoming a bishop. Coming up on Fox 25 News at 10, a popular HMO is changing its practices, and it could mean changes for your prescription.
Plus, sex and sleep. Can your gender cause insomnia? Also, here comes the stork. Software giant Bill Gates is expanding his empire.
And how this Santa's helper helped save a young girl's life.
Normally, we would have seen about 4 inches of snow by now. Instead, it's record-breaking warm. What's up with the weather? Your forecast is coming up next.
Jeep drivers know how to have fun, and now it's all downhill from here. Announcing Jeep Owner Appreciation Days, where Jeep drivers ski for free all day at select locations. Just drive any Jeep vehicle to the designated mountain for that day, and you'll get a free one-day lift ticket. Any Jeep, from the original Jeep CJ to the all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited, the most capable sport utility ever. Jeep Owner Appreciation Days. It's downhill all the way. For a complete list of dates and ski locations, see your New England Jeep dealer.
I've got more shopping to do. Back soon.
Here's a great gift idea that's easy and affordable from the wireless experts at Cellular One. A Motorola StarTech 3000 for just $29.95.
Hello?
Honey, put it back.
Now get this gift too. Free night and weekend calling till 2001.
They couldn't stand each other.
Joe Fox. F-O-X. F-O-X.
Look at each other.
She's a pill.
That caviar is a garnish.
Until they realized
Hi.
they were perfect for each other.
I don't know his name.
This woman is the most adorable creature I've ever been in contact with.
She could be a real dog. Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan, You've Got Mail.
What are you girls talking about?
Cyber sex.
Rated PG. Starts Friday, December 18th at a theater near you.
Where's your Aussie friend now?
Right here.
The Subaru Forester. With 30% more horsepower than a Honda CR-V, it's one sport utility that's full of surprises.
Like me, for example.
It is just unbelievable how warm it's been, and let's keep our fingers crossed that this is going to last. But we keep hearing how next week things might change. I hope not.
I hope not, too, but we are just enjoying this beautiful weather, Kim. Keep it coming.
Okay, I'm going to do my best. We are going to see a cool down, though, but keeping in mind a cool down just might bring us back to normal, if that. Let's take a look at Boylston Street downtown, where right now it's 58 degrees. Our normal high is around 45. So what? 13 degrees above our normal afternoon high at 10 o'clock at night. It's gorgeous outside, and I think tonight is the night to just go out and enjoy. Were you jogging today? Instead of the sweats, you had your shorts on? Here's a good reason to do that. 67, breaking a record at the Blue Hills Observatory in Milton. 71, an all-time record high for Providence. This is as warm as it's been ever in Rhode Island. For December, 65, tying the record in Worcester. As we expand the view across the Northeast, we have more records across the area. Central Park broke a record high with 74. 65 today in Portland, Maine. Yesterday, they only had highs in the 40s. Not too much in the cloud department or the rain department. These clearing skies are going to allow all the heat that we got today to go right back up into outer space. So we're not going to have a blanket on the bed tonight. We are going to see a cool down, but has to go quite a far distance to get down from 58 to make it feel cool. Winds are shifting to the northwest at 7, not out of the west. We're eventually going to see our winds shift to the east tomorrow off the cooler ocean waters, and that's going to cool us down somewhat. Right now we stand at 54 in Plymouth, 55 in Providence, already 43 degrees in Fitchburg, so temperatures are cooling. The story this week, the jet stream, our storm track well up to the north, keeping the cold air bottled up on into Canada. The warm air taking its place from the south. We have low pressure systems coming along the jet stream. They drag weak cold fronts across the area. This one today had very dry air behind it. Dry air can heat up and cool off much more quickly than moist air. We saw the heating up with winds out of the west, off the Berkshires and the Worcester Hills. It heats up very quickly. Tomorrow, though, winds will be out of the east. That'll bring in some cooler Atlantic air, and more clouds are going to be in place tomorrow, blocking out the sun by tomorrow afternoon. So those two factors will help to keep us a little bit cool for your Saturday, but high temperatures still in the 50s. You can't complain about that. This moisture will continue to move on up to the north and east, probably turn into a rainy, icy mix for the province of Ontario tomorrow afternoon. Thunderstorms breaking out across the mid-Mississippi Valley and further on down to the south. And if you're looking for snowfall, you're a skier, well, the northern Rockies are seeing all the snowfall. Here are the rain showers that came into Southern California that we were talking about yesterday. Still very active across the west coast. This will continue to be active. This storm system here is going to move on up to the north and east, probably bring in a few rain showers in our direction by Monday. We may even see a couple by tomorrow night, but not really a big rain event. If you're going traveling tomorrow, the southeast is still okay. A few showers across the Great Lakes, turning into that icy mixture on into Canada. Seattle's going to see more rain again tomorrow. LA will be getting just a brief drying trend with highs around 61 degrees. What about us? Well, temperatures right now are cooling back down into the 40s. They will eventually settle down there in Metro Boston. Tomorrow, we're going to see the cooler air come in off the ocean, and this forecast keeps us a little cooler than what we've been seeing, but nothing that we can't handle. Eventually, we are going to have one more warm-up for Tuesday. So your forecast goes like this. For tonight, we are going to see the clouds stay out of the picture. The winds will weaken. Lows drop down into the 40s and 30s in the burbs. Increasing clouds. Highs return to around 54 for Boston. And tomorrow night, mostly cloudy skies, a few sprinkles, and lows dropping down to the 40s. Here's your Fox 5-day forecast. It goes something like this. Rain comes our way Sunday afternoon into Monday. It'll be windy again, and then we warm up to 58 degrees Monday afternoon. The cool down comes Wednesday, so that's what Bob was talking about. 45, though, is our normal high temperature, so we're using the term cool very loosely in this forecast.
All right. Thanks, Kim. Well, the second time was the charm.
The Space Shuttle Endeavour lifted off in the wee hours of this morning on an international mission.
2, 1, we have booster ignition and liftoff of the Space Shuttle.
At 3:35, Endeavour blasted off. The shuttle is carrying the Unity, the first American-made piece of the International Space Station. The cockpit alarm went off minutes before yesterday's launch, forcing NASA to reschedule to today. Well, here at home, Congressman Joe Moakley is in the holiday spirit, and so is his house.
That's right, and you can see it in all its glory this weekend during a special holiday event. 10 homes, including the congressman's, are part of the annual Christmas house tour in South Boston. Interior designers have spent weeks hanging wreaths and stringing lights and ribbons. Admission fees benefit the Labor Center, a local social service agency.
With these spring-like temperatures, it may not feel like the time to buy a Christmas tree, but actually, the time is just right. You'll find all different types of trees and all different shapes and sizes just about anywhere you look. At Lambert's Market in Westwood, they say the best time to get a tree is now, even if you're not ready to put it up yet.
So if they were to come in and get their tree now, we'll cut the bottom, put it in a bucket of water in their garage, and put it up at their convenience. It's a lot better off in that situation than it is right now in this yard.
And of course, the key to keeping your tree healthy and safe enough to last through the holiday is water, and lots of it.
Kids have seen Santa as a hero for ages. Now a Florida mother sees St. Nick as her son's savior. Santa sprang into action at a Pensacola shopping mall when he noticed a baby had stopped breathing. 4-month-old Quentin Orr stopped breathing shortly after getting his picture taken with Santa. The CPR-certified Santa was a Christmas miracle. A humble Howard Russell doesn't see his gift of life as anything special, but that's not what the baby's mother thinks.
Could have been somewhere where there was somebody that was trained, and we were just lucky we were with Santa.
Some people might look at it as a miracle. I just look at it as giving back to your fellow man.
Russell was awarded a medal from the police department for his life-saving heroism.
Paralyzed BU hockey player Travis Roy turns tragedy into triumph. Find out how.
And how do you move a centuries-old lighthouse in Massachusetts? Very carefully, of course. We'll show you how it's done next.
Fox Sunday. After the holiday special, Annabelle's Wish, Grandpa needs a transplant, and only Homer can save him.
This will all be over soon. What's the...
And all new Simpsons. Then, got a secret? Third Rock's Joseph Gordon-Levitt has a big one.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
A brand new That 70s Show. And Mulder's trapped in another man's body and missing out on the time of his life.
Oh, yeah.
And all new X-Files.
Begins Sunday at 7 on Fox 25.
We have an important cashew recall to tell you about tonight. A New Hampshire company is recalling a batch of cashew butter because it could cause an allergic reaction, and there's no warning on that label. Now, the cashew butter is made by Woodstock old-fashioned cashew butter and comes in 16-ounce jars. The recalled jars have been sold throughout the Northeast, including Massachusetts, and they have the code X371 right on the label.
Tufts Health Plan is making changes as part of its New Year's resolution. The health plan reportedly will stop covering 44 brand-name drugs starting January 1st. The move is apparently an effort to cut costs by replacing brand-name drugs with generic substitutes. The change will affect less than 1/5 of its members. Want a quick income tax return next year? Use the internet. The IRS hopes to triple the number of taxpayers who file electronically by the year 2007. And here are a couple of incentives for you. Next year, you'll be able to pay for your taxes using your credit card. And the IRS is giving out PIN numbers so you don't have to sign anything. The agency says all these improvements make it easier and faster to do your taxes.
Well, it has withstood the test of time, protecting sailors along the South Shore.
And now a massive effort is underway to move the Plymouth lighthouse to keep it from falling into the sea.
Fox 25 videographer Dave Monjo shows us what it takes to move history.
There's been a lighthouse here since 1778, I believe. The first one was built. This one was actually built in 1842, as I'm sure you've seen in the shot. And there was a twin lighthouse here. And this is very, very important to all of us who vote in this area.
The whole reason behind moving the lighthouse is the eroding coastal bank. If you notice, we're about 50 feet from the edge of the bank, and the erosion is going to continue. They're using steel beams on timber cribbing, similar to a railroad trestle. So what they'll do is, with rollers, they'll roll it along those steel beams. The actual move begun today is probably going to run another 2 days. So it's not real complicated. It's just slow lowering the lighthouse, winching it over, and then raising it back up to its new elevation.
They're not as important now as they used to be with GPS and so on, but They're certainly much more than an anachronism. There have been plenty of days when the fog has come in when we've been out in Cape Cod Bay, and we were awful glad to have this lighthouse and its horn to let us know when we were getting close to land.
It is nice to know that we'll be leaving this lighthouse down to generation that follows.
Some people call it one of the minor lighthouses. It's not as important as Boston Light or the Graves or Nauset Light on Cape Cod, but to us around here, it is very important.
As you can see, the pace is very slow, but they plan on working on it all weekend, and they say the lighthouse will be in its new location by Monday.
Can't sleep? Don't blame the caffeine or what you ate. Up next, some reasons and solutions for insomnia.
Here is an easy quiz. Which car has the highest horsepower and most interior room? Good. And with $1,500 cash allowance, which car has the lowest price? Very good. Or instead of cash allowance, Dodge Neon has what financing rate through December 10th? Very, very good. And what can 0% financing for 60 months save you compared to prevailing rates? You are correct. So circle which car you want now. Excellent. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
Hello.
Here's our new cellular offer. Exclusive of activation and roaming fees. Weekday peak minutes from 9 to 1 and 6 to 10. Only for
Cellular phone offers are not always clear. But ever since Sprint PCS built the only all-digital nationwide network, everything is clear, including the offer.
Hello?
Sprint PCS is now just $30 for 200 minutes anytime.
Wonderful.
Hello. Of course, all rates are based on the length
Sprint PCS, right now, just $1 a day.
Who's that laughing?
Oh my God. The fear of not breathing or not being able to breathe is worse than anything in the whole world.
This is a healthy human lung.
My chest gets tight, my heart starts to beat really fast.
This is a lung removed from a patient who had emphysema.
I can't think, I try to calm myself down.
This is full of carbon from smoking.
And I start to hyperventilate and I'm getting no air. There's nothing that's scarier.
Some days are made to last forever. Beautiful from Estee Lauder. Now something new to celebrate. This Golden Collection Plus Evening Clutch, $20 with any Estee Lauder fragrance purchase. Exclusively at Filene's.
Before building automobiles, Saab built airplanes. And when you build airplanes, you learn how to handle turbulence.
A hotel surprise greeted a couple checking into a Florida hotel room, and it wasn't chocolate on the pillows.
I looked down and was pretty sure I saw a snake, but was stunned because I was, assuming there would not be a snake in our room.
Well, it wasn't just any snake, it was a python. The hotel manager says he has no idea how it got there. He says the snake could not have simply crawled into the room. The hotel made it up to the couple, giving them another room for free.
The world's richest man and his wife are expecting. Make way for baby Gates. Microsoft chairman Bill Gates has announced he and his wife Melinda are expecting their second child. The baby is due in June. The couple says they don't plan to find out if it's a boy or a girl. They already have a 2.5-year-old daughter.
Paralyzed BU hockey player Travis Roy plans to make a movie about his life. The film will be called 11 Seconds. The BU student was paralyzed 11 seconds after taking the ice in his very first NCAA hockey game 3 years ago. Boston-based Mark Campbell Productions will work with Roy to develop the movie.
Ladies, if you have trouble sleeping tonight, we may know why. A new study on women and sleep shows hormones can have a profound effect. Studies have found women experience insomnia more than men. A woman's menstrual cycle, pregnancy, and menopause could be to blame. The survey showed women have trouble sleeping 2.5 days during their period. 80% of pregnant women say their sleep is disturbed. And more than a third of menopausal women experience hot flashes during sleep. Some tips to minimize insomnia: try to go to bed and get up at the same time every day. Avoid alcohol, caffeine, and nicotine late in the day. Don't exercise right before bedtime, and avoid napping unless you are profoundly tired.
Thousands jammed the Fleet Center tonight for Super Jam 98, and all the fun is for a good cause. Some of the hottest R&B acts in the country, including Usher and Monica, are at the Fleet Center right now. Nicole and Divine took to the stage earlier tonight to get the crowd pumped up. Radio station Jammin' 94.5 put on a Super Jam, and a portion of the proceeds will go to Project Bread.
Next on Fox 25 News at 10.
Put this on your Christmas shopping list. Roger Clemens needs a geography book. First, he went to Toronto to get closer to his home in Texas. Now he's thinking about New York. Man's lost, but the Yankees want him. Plus, Terry Glenn's huge impact on the Patriots and high school Super Bowl highlights next in sports.
It's an NFC East grudge match as the Giants go for the season sweep over Jake Plummer and the Cardinals.
Hey, guys! Move over, I can't see!
The Giants take on the Cardinals Sunday at 4 on Fox 25.
Oh, no. No. What are you doing? Give me the bat. Stance is all wrong. Check this out. Come to Papa.
The Saturn wagon. With easy to maintain, dent-resistant doors.
Ooh. Good pitch. I'll see you guys later.
At DeSell, put the cheer back in your holiday for 20 to 60% less than department stores. Wrap up your holiday shopping.
At DeSell.
I had a nightmare, Dr. Phil. Everybody's telling me no.
Oh, Bernie, you're just obsessing over our no money till the millennium sale.
The new Samsonite Silhouette 6 was recently introduced to an unsuspecting audience. They, however, responded to it immediately. Many took to the maneuverability granted by its 4 wheels. Others to its rather ingenious stacking shelves. And still others, well, just took to the whole style of it all. Travelers everywhere, it could be the answer to your prayers. The Samsonite Silhouette 6, world-proof.
We're picking up our CEO.
Fortunately, the company cars have OnStar.
We swerved off the road and boom, the airbags go off.
There was a deer.
I never saw it.
Seconds later, an OnStar advisor calls and says, I just got a signal, your airbags went off, should I send an ambulance?
We were fine, but she called for a tow truck and a limo.
Good thing I called OnStar.
OnStar called us.
Oh, right.
Now, get the OnStar system and installation at no extra charge when you sign up for a year of service. Call 1-888-OnStar-7.
Patriots gearing up to take on Pittsburgh this weekend.
Every game right now is a big game.
Yeah, and I think the Patriots are looking good heading into this one, except for one thing. Lost in the euphoria of the Patriots' 2 fantastic finishes, lost in the drama of Drew Bledsoe's broken finger, lost in the fervor of the team's announced move to Hartford is the cold, hard truth that the Patriots' defense has been lousy. The Patriots' early season weapon has been concealed lately, and it's time for the force to be with them once again. Big play after big play after big play. The Patriots defense has been burned so often lately, it's time we started giving them the 3rd degree. So what's up with the 22 points surrendered at home to mediocre offenses?
People have been doing a lot of different things to us, spreading us out, and that seems to be the new way of the NFL. And it's hard to cover everybody. You can't cover everybody. And there's been mismatches, and they found the mismatches in our defense. So what we need to do is just try to counteract it and you know, we feel that we'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? Even with all the things that have happened to us, the big things we can eliminate is the big plays. If we eliminate 2 big plays against Buffalo, the guy throws for 200 yards, and the game's probably not that close. So that's something we can do without pressure. That has nothing to do with that, and we plan on doing that this week.
Well, at least they've got a plan. How about some pressure? When the Patriots got to Doug Flutie last week, it was the team's 2nd sack in 5 games. And the Steelers' Cordell Stewart won't be easy to get to.
There's extremely difficult to defend these types of quarterbacks, and this guy is as hard as you can get.
And how about knocking the ball out and falling on it? The Patriots have recovered a pathetically low 2 fumbles all year.
It's been killing me. The fact that we can't get the ball out on the ground and recover it it's just such a void. It's a tremendous void. I don't know how you could go this many games with the guys playing as hard as we play, and that's the numbers that we have. But these numbers are ridiculous, and I don't even know how you could go through this many games and not get some fumbles.
And here's another secret revealed. We'll call it the Glenn factor. And what a difference Pat's wide receiver Terry Glenn makes. A 2-touchdown difference. In the 8 games Glenn has played, the Patriots averaged 26.5 points per game. Without him, just 12.5 points. Also, the Patriots were 1-3 in the games he missed, 6-2 with him. Buffalo Bills linebacker Marlo Perry was involved in a fatal car crash this afternoon. Perry was traveling alone and received only minor cuts and bruises, but a 70-year-old passenger in a second car was killed. Police said Perry was not at fault in the accident. High school Super Bowl action tonight. It's Bellingham in black. They are, after all, the Blackhawks. Facing South Boston, the Knights' Fitzroy Brown finds the end zone. And a nice run, but Bellingham took control from there. Here's a blocked punt. The Hawks fall on it in the end zone. They win the Eastern Mass Division V Super Bowl 34-8. Earlier tonight at Boston University, Weston's Wildcats picked apart Madison Park. That's Jordan Remy with a nice touchdown run. That's followed by a little defense. Watch the pickoff play and the easy march to the end zone. Weston grabbed a 14-0 lead. Here's another one coming right at you. It's Remy. That's Jerry Remy's son. And nice cuts around the goal line. He scores, and Weston knocks off Madison Park 34-0 in the Division VI Super Bowl. And football will be the fix on Sports Sunday, along with the high school bowl championships. The Patriots try to keep that magic going. Join us after the game for highlights and post-game analysis with Steve Grogan. Plus, the king of hype was in the hub this week, promoting the Holyfield-Lennox Lewis fight. It's Don King at his craziest and hair-frizziest. Sports Sunday at 10:30. When Santa checks his list twice, we're listed under naughty, but nice. The struggling Boston University Terriers hosted the UMass Minutemen tonight, and this one almost went down to the last minute, man. BU scoring the beautiful game winner with just 7 minutes to play. Bobby Orr catching in some college ice action. We move to the 3rd period. Terriers down 1, and Nick Gillis will come up big. He puts the errant puck home, and the Terriers had tied the game at 2. Strange goal coming up. The puck is behind the net, and then the puck will get in the net. Mike Pandolfo gets the credit for the strange goal. The Terriers beat the Minutemen. Final score, 3-2. It is the true evil empire state. And if Roger Clemens happens to get traded to the Yankees, it'll be just one more reason to hate New York. Like that accent isn't enough. Roger would love to be wearing pinstripes next year, and not just because they're very slimming. He wants a ring, and the Yankees want him.
Rocket's a great pitcher, and anytime you hear his name, you got to think twice. And yeah, I'll find a place for him. I mean, if he's worried about his kids growing up in New York, I'll show him around. There's some good suburbs and nice schools. So I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm glad Bernie's back. I think that was our #1 priority. But you know, who knows what's going to happen with Rocket?
Well, Cohn's right. There are some nice parts of New York. It's called Connecticut. Now here's Kim with a final check on the weather.
I won't tell my parents in New Jersey what you just said. Checking out the forecast tomorrow, it is definitely cooler, but nothing we can't handle, 48 to 54 degrees. Look for clouds to be increasing, though. Otherwise, we probably would be a lot warmer. Your Fox 5 day does have a hint of a little bit of winter. Didn't mention this, thought I'd bring it up now because I'm about to go home and you can't do anything to me. Looks like we might have a little bit of rain Tuesday. That could translate into a mixture of rain or snow, maybe, up on into parts of northern New England, starting around the Vermont-New Hampshire line. So keep that in mind Tuesday night. But 50s in the forecast is still mild. No complaints, right?
Deal with the rain, can't deal with the snow, so not a bad outlook. Thanks, Kim.
Yes, and all the letters go to Bob Halloran.
I love New York.
That'll do it for us for now. Thanks for joining us. I'm Eileen Curran.
And I'm Bob Ward. News Radio's up next. We'll see you tomorrow night at 10. Good night.